Friday workshop. Just me this week. This week we're going to be talking about chisels. We're doing a top 10 tips video on it. So here we go. Tip number 1 is keep your chisels sharp. We do this to make sure that they're easily used, they don't go in random places, and you don't hurt yourself when you're chiseling. The way we keep ours sharp is with a sharpening stone, but you can keep them sharp other ways too. But that is tip number 1. On to tip number 2. Tip number 2, the bevel angle. The bevel angle is really important. For general woodworking, you want to have a 25-degree angle, but if you're doing like heavy-duty stuff and you want a stronger edge, you're going to want to go more at a 30-degree angle. And this just makes it so chisels work better and you get a better product in the end. So on to tip number 3. Tip number 3 is put your chisels in a protective case or just in a roll rack or basically anything that holds them well together. It'll keep your chisels safe all together and it'll keep them sharp longer. Tip number 4 is to use the right mallet. Use a wooden mallet or rubber mallet. They're both very effective. I prefer the wood mallet, but never use a hammer or a metal mallet of any kind. It will damage the chisel and there's a chance that it could go flying. You could feel a bunch of vibrations. It could be really harmful and just not turn out very safe. So on to tip number 5. Tip number 5 is to work with the grain. You can avoid a lot of problems this way with splintering and cracking. But if you have to work across the grain and against the grain, then go very lightly and just do little cuts with your chisel. So on to tip number 6. Tip number 6 is to make sure that you make controlled cuts. Very small, little ones. You don't want to make powerful, forceful ones. Powerful, forceful ones can cause the board to be splinting, and it can just make problems altogether. If you go little controlled ones, then that can add more precision when you're chiseling. Tip number 7, back beveling. Use the backside of the chisel to chisel, making smoother finishes, smoother cuts, and it'll turn out much better. So on to tip number 8. Tip number 8, use clamps. It keeps your pieces steady, and it makes your cuts more precise, and it increases the safety, as the board can't shift or move as easily. So on to tip number 9. Tip number 9, make sure to clean and maintain your chisels. This is really useful because it keeps your chisels in good shape, and you can do this pretty easily. You just wipe them off, and then you apply an oil to it, and it cleans it off all the resin and wood particles that come off of the wood when you're chiseling. Tip number 10 is safety. You want to stay safe, put on gloves, wear some eye protection, be careful to be able to tell where the path of the chisel is going and keep your hands out of the way of it. And this basically just keeps yourself safe from getting hurt. So, on to the outro. Friday workshop, and that was 10 essential tips that all beginners and some pros need to know to increase their chances of staying safe and increase how well they chisel. So if you like videos like this one, you should check out this video, like and subscribe. Yeah!